Today's stories include Elden Ring only getting one DLC, Take-Two takes two studios from us, and is Sony gearing up for Horizon Remastered? We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, April 2nd, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
Blessing, what's good? Thanks for having me on, Big Dog. Yep. I appreciate you. I'm happy to be here with you. Talking some games, talking some Elden Ring DLC. Get out of town, man. It's going to be fun.
How are you? Of course, we finished up our soccer season.
Yes.
This last Monday? Tuesday?
Yep. Finished up on Tuesday. 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks of games.
7 weeks with like one bye week.
Yeah, I still got a bone to pick with that league about the bye week. But you know what, Bless? I'm feeling really good. Spring is in effect. Summer's right around the corner. I think the team got really good this year. Mm-hmm. We made some great strides on, really elevating our soccer game. I think the first season we went out there to kind of get some movement in our life and like feel it out. I think this season was really like, hey, we have the skills. We have some talent. We could do this. And I think most of the games we competed well.
Oh, yeah.
There was always,
I feel like our issues were only like, first half getting the rust off, but then like the second half we were always performing.
Yeah,
second half was always the thing of like, oh shit, like there are some games where I would say we won the second half.
Yeah,
I
agree with that.
One of those games where like we were up 1-0 in the second half, but of course the other team was up like 4-0 in the first.
Everyone knows where second half team is, right, Bless? Yeah. But it was a great soccer season. I'm happy to be running around with you, and I know that we're going to do it all over again. So even more soccer for you and I, which is great.
Hell yeah! Now, Mike, I was online this morning, gathering the news as I do.
Ooh,
and I came across this tweet from howlongtobeat.com.
Okay.
Of course, How Long to Beat is a website people go to figure out how long games are.
Oh, right? Yeah, I use that all the time.
I use it pretty much every single time I play a video game.
Really? I use it for the streams to be like, how long are we going to be stuck here? I never think of it like, I want to play a game. How long does this take?
And the thing that sucks is that most of the games I play nowadays are for review. And so most of the time it's like I don't even have that option available to me. But whenever it is, I got to pick a game between reviews that I'm doing. Let me see how long this is going to take me. If it's 10 hours, let's go. If it's 80 hours, I'm good. But How Long to Beat, they uploaded or they tweeted out this morning this How Long to Beat game. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, we're doing this for KHD. This is how we do the opening for KHD.
Okay.
So I've not played it. I've barely even read the rules.
Okay.
So I have the website open. I sent Kevin the link. Kevin has it open here. The how to play says the objective is to accurately estimate how long to beat various games. You can earn up to 25 points per question by guessing as close as possible for the hidden answer.
Okay.
Utilize power-ups to assist you. Use one power-up per round. Each round consists of 4 questions, one for each time category, and one user rating question. So yeah, the first one that pops up here is Ratchet and Clank Going Commando.
Okay.
And so I think we just guess how long do we think these games are to beat.
Okay. Oh, that's a fun idea. So it's our goal. We get the game. Now we guess. See, I thought it was they gave us an hour amount and we had to guess the game. You know what I mean? On the flip side,
yeah.
That would have been tough. So I'm glad it's this. Okay, Ratchet and Clank, Going Commando. Never played it, so this is going to be a big guess for me. Have you played this?
No, but I have played other Ratchet and Clank games. Like I played the original Ratchet and Clank on PS2. I'm gonna guess for main story, 15 hours.
Okay, we're gonna lock in with
that. Might be too high of a guess.
Blessing is gonna be the main guesser here.
Yeah,
I would go with anywhere between 8 to 10. I would probably lean on the 10 side, but let's go with 15. I like that.
And then, it looks like we're filling in all like they have main story, then they have main plus sides, then they have completionist.
Okay. So that means you got to go up from 15 then.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 20 for main plus sides.
Whew.
And I'm gonna say a 25 for completionist.
Okay. I like that. User rating? How many people you think got all this?
Oh, is that like how many people
I think that's a guess right there. Yeah, for 25 extra points. What's the user rating percentage?
Bless, I think I can refresh and pull up the rules if you want me to do that.
Oh, I got it on my screen. Let me.
Okay, he's gonna double check.
Yeah, let me double check.
Take your time.
User rating. Well, it's not telling me anything about the user rating when I refresh and look at the rules. I'm just gonna say 50%.
50%.
That might be like maybe how many people like it or not, but I'm still gonna say 50% just to see. All right. Now, do we hit submit or do we hit reveal?
I think you hit submit.
I'm gonna say hit submit. It might bring up a next game because I think there's 3 games. Oh,
close.
So the answer for main story is 13 hours. I said 15. Answer for main plus size is 18 hours. I said 20. And then for completionist, is that 28?
That's 28.
28, and I said 25. I was pretty close there. And then for user rating, it's 83. So I assume user rating might be like how many people like.
I mean, you got 61 out of 100 points. It's not bad, but like it's not passing.
So the
fair.
plus 9,
It's unfortunately not passing.
the plus 19 is how many points you got out of possible like 25 or whatever it said there before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to do the next
And
round?
so yeah, we just didn't get anything.
Yeah, let's
on
do the next
user
round. I'm
rating.
gonna have Mike do the next round.
Oh, Legend of Korra. Yeah, I hear this is a hit game. Barrett
yeah.
would probably play this one. I don't know this one. Let's go with main story. Kevin, give me 11 on the main story. Give me main story plus sides for 18. Give me completionist for 22 with a user rating of a solid 67%.
Ooh, see, I was going to go way lower than 67.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right,
yeah.
ready?
You're
I'm
saying
gonna
this game
submit.
is not
Because
good.
if this is the one I recall,
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I think this might be the platinum game, and people did not like the Legend of Korra platinum game.
Really?
Oh yeah,
All right,
Platinum, the creators of Bayonetta.
yeah. There's
Couldn't land a Legend of Korra game?
there's
It
good
wasn't
platinum
even
and there's
close.
bad platinum.
Oh, okay.
This is this is bad
Didn't know
platinum.
that. Kevin, hit me. Not even close.
Yeah.
5 hours for the main story.
5 hours for the main story, 8 hours for main plus sides. Completionist is 15 hours, and then the user rating. You were very close to the user rating, 64%.
Not bad.
For the user rating.
I will say that is a Xbox Live Arcade game to me is what I would call that. At 5 hours of main content, I hope that was sold for about $10.
And then this next one, Kathy Rain. I've never heard of Kathy Rain.
Yeah.
It's a 2016 adventure game, is what they call it.
Okay.
Kathy Rain, a Detective is Born. I'm gonna say
light it up, Les.
main story. I'm going 10 hours.
Okay.
If it's an adventure
See,
game.
now here's my worry.
Uh-huh.
You see something like this with this title treatment, this feels like a meaty, like point and click type of game. Like
See,
we
that's
could
what I'm
be here
thinking.
for way too long.
But that also
But I
makes
don't
me
wanna
think
deter
that if
you.
we're
I
doing
want you to
main
lock
plus
in.
sides,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to go 11. Because how much side content are you going to find in just an adventure
Great call.
game?
It's a great call. It's a great call.
So main plus size 11. Completionist, I'm going to say 13.
Okay.
And then user rating, I've not heard of this video game before, and so I'm going to say 40.
40. Like that.
You can submit.
Oh my. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no, I fucked that up. So main story, you have 6 hours. Main plus size, you have 7 hours. Completionist, you have 7 hours. I had the right idea there.
I like that.
Right, jumping from the main story to the side stuff.
Yeah.
Because you like assuming this is an adventure game, you're not going to have that much side content to go to. But then yeah, user rating is 73%, which I wouldn't have called.
So this is tied to the how long to beat actual website.
Yeah,
Nice. That's a nice
that's
little
cool.
touch.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. I like that a lot.
I
Shout
know.
out.
There's like a video game version of Wordle. It's less so Wordle and more so. Can you guess what the screenshot
Yeah,
is?
me and Roger played that before. I love that to
Yeah.
death. And then I also love GeoGuessr and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I'm the GOAT at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas GeoGuessr.
I mean,
We should.
how much of the goat are you? Because I can prepare something for you.
Well, you know what? We do that together here soon.
We'll do
maybe
that
next.
soon.
Maybe next Games Daily we're together. We do that.
Mike, enough about that.
Yep.
Remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube super chats as we go. Housekeeping for you today after KFGD, you'll get the PS I Love You XOXO Goodbye episode, followed by the Kind of Funny Games afternoon stream, kicking off with a sponsored hour of Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs. It's a 64-player battle royale to be the last pack standing. Will it be Greg, Nick, Mike, or Andy? Find out today at noon on Twitch and on YouTube. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh!
It looks like
It's
we have a
Pac-Man.
special guest in the building. We got Pac-Man
It's
here.
the Pac.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
Pac.
Mike, I'm not gonna lie. Pac-Man way bigger in person than
It's amazing to see you in real life. I mean, I'm a big fan.
I'm a
I
huge
can't
fan.
wait to play the game today. I'm gonna be number one. Oh, you got a little
you're gonna
dance?
be number one, Mike?
I'm number one.
I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
I
that's second
played
pack
last night on PlayStation, got a few trophies,
Yep,
came in
yep.
number 2, and I'm ready.
Oh, you
I'm
only got
ready
number
to be
2.
the last pack standing, all right? 64 players, blessed. Do you understand the kind of pressure I'll have to step up and have?
Yeah.
How do you win? How do you win in this game?
It's actually pretty brilliant.
Last
So
pack standing.
you're all playing Pac-Man at the same time, right?
Uh-huh.
64 players. But then, obviously, if you get eliminated by the ghost or whatever, but then you can invade other people's maps and then attack them and chomp them
Chomp them.
do this stuff.
So it's like Pac-Man eating other Pac-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, snap.
That's the bit.
Oh,
two
I
Pac-Man
like
because
that.
I'm Pac Greg.
Well, I was gonna say, is like, are you safe having two Pac-Mans here on the same camera at the same time?
I would need a special pellet. Mike, I've been wanting to eat your pellets for a long time.
Oh, thank you, Greg. I mean, I just want you to know that I'm undefeated in this office at Battle Royales, and I will be coming after you, and I will be invading your area every single time we play. You'll be the first person I go after.
You're going down.
Yes, exactly.
Come on, Pac-Man!
I love that.
Back to the dungeon!
Jason says Mike
right
has to be
face.
so jealous that he's not in that suit right now, and I am. I love that Pac-Man suit. I want that Pac-Man suit. I want to wear that Pac-Man suit. I think it's so cool.
What do you mean suit? You know,
you're right. Isn't that the real Pac-Man?
Yeah, you don't. Right. I'm not looking at you being like, "Oh, I want to wear that Snow White suit." I'm not a crazy person. Put some respect on Pac-Man's name. God dang it. Then after Pac-Man, Nick continues his Pokemon Nuzlocke run, and tomorrow it's another fun-filled marathon stream as the Poke Crew battle their way to the Elite Four.
Big deal.
Huge
making his way through it.
Are you finishing it this marathon stream?
Yeah, we're gonna go all the way. We're going to make it happen. I will give a little teaser for today's afternoon stream. We have a big choice right now. Gyarados or Lapras. We have to choose between the two of them. We don't really want to double up on water types. I know Gyarados is kind of a blend, but we don't really want to double up on them, so we're choosing one or the other.
Gyarados all the way.
Wow. Not many people, Chris Anka, our dude who's been our guide, says he loves Gyarados the most, but he does think that the chat is correct with going with Lapras.
Yeah, Lapras, I would go with Lapras too.
Also, what is Lapras' name?
Kev, wet.
I'll go with Gyarados.
Yeah.
I don't like that one bit. Of course, if you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Greg Way is Greg talking about Starfield and if you should wait for the update to play. And you can get Planet of the Apes 2001 in review this afternoon on Patreon and tomorrow on YouTube and podcast services around the globe. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Fargo Brady, and Delaney Twining. Today brought to you by Aura Frames, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
Oh, Baker's dozen!
Starting with our number one, Mike, Elden Ring will only get one DLC in Shadow of the Erdtree, but From Software isn't ruling out a full sequel for the RPG. Okay. I'm pulling from High and Crier at Games Radar. Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC will be the RPG's only expansion, but developer From Software isn't ruling out other games in the lands between. In a new interview with Chinese outlet Campfire Camp, Elden Ring game director and From Software studio head Hidetaka Miyazaki commented on the possibility of other DLC entries for Elden Ring. From Software does have a history of multiple DLC offerings for their games, with Dark Souls 3 receiving 2 full expansions, for example. However, Miyazaki says that Shadow of the Erdtree will be the first and last Elden Ring DLC. The 2022 game won't be receiving any further DLC after Shadow of the Erdtree launches next month on June 21st, so this next journey into the lands between might well be the final story From Software tells in the Elden Ring world, for now at least. That's because Miyazaki isn't ruling out another full Elden Ring game. The director says that From Software's style of making and developing games naturally leaves the door open to another game set within the Elden Ring's world, although Miyazaki obviously stops short of confirming that there definitely would be another Elden Ring game. Curiously, Elden Ring publisher Bandai Namco previously stated back in 2022 that Elden Ring would be the start of a franchise, quote, beyond the game itself. It's now been well over 2 years since that comment, and we're no closer to learning how or when From Software might expand on Elden Ring's world in other media.
Dang.
Mike.
Okay.
How does this hit you? Chat also for super chats. How does this hit you? Would you want an Elden Ring 2? Do you feel like Elden Ring should be one and done, Mike?
Yeah, of course. I'm making the faces over here, right? Because the one DLC hurts because Elden Ring is so much fun and it's so special, I'm sure, to so many listening and watching out there that you want more of it, right? And so, yes, I do want a sequel. Do I see a sequel in the cards? 100%, right? I think you build off of Elden Ring just like you built off of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, right? I think people are going to be screaming about Bloodborne soon enough when we talk about this, but like Elden Ring 2 does seem like the next logical step. Having one DLC only also seems like the correct thing when you really think of how big the game is and how much density they put into the map. It seems like, yeah, you put as much work as you can into a large DLC, and then we're probably moving on to the next game. I would agree with that.
Yeah, my big question is how large is the DLC? Me and Andy were going back and forth a little bit. I think we both kind of came down on the same place of you would expect it to be meaty. Coming,
of course,
a year and a half, over 2 years. I don't even know how long it's been now since Elden Ring came out, right? But it's been a while. It's been, I think, a little bit over 2 years by the time we get to this. And so it's been a while. This has been in the oven. They've been cooking. And when you look at the other From Software DLCs, like Mike, you've been playing Dark Souls DLC.
Yep.
They're pretty meaty, right? Like how long would you say the Dark Souls DLC is?
You know, I would put them in, it depends on your speed, right? And like how much you're adventuring, but I would put them at like anywhere between 6 to 8 hours. I think I'd feel more comfortable of saying like number of bosses per DLC. And then I think the explorations in between, but it did feel like normally like maybe 3 to 4 maximum bosses, quote unquote, on each DLC that I played from 1 to 2 so far. But I just finished Dark Souls 1 that had only 1 DLC, and then Dark Souls 2, which had 3. And that one felt meaty, but like when you're playing through it, this isn't an open giant world like what Elden Ring is. It is more contained, larger open spaces that you'll explore, you'll get a lot out of, but it is very much like, hey, go to point A, defeat that boss. Let's go to point B, defeat that second boss. Point C is the final boss there. You've now wrapped up the DLC. They never felt like, oh, I'm here in this DLC for 100 hours, 40 hours, 20, maybe 15 because I'm bad, you know what I mean? But none of the DLCs felt super massive like what I would expect out of an Elden Ring DLC.
And that's the thing is, I played the Bloodborne DLC, the Old Hunters, and that felt meaty. It was probably along the lines of, you mentioned 6 to 8 hours for the Dark Souls stuff. I'll probably put Old Hunters for me 10 to 15. Yeah. Even though I will say, again, this comes back to being bad. Half that time was spent fighting Orphan of Kos.
Correct. I think
half that time is spent like fighting these tough bosses that are tougher than what you're getting in the main game.
Of course, and I think that's what the chat will bring up. It's like, oh, is it 8 hours? Is it 15? And really, I think the mileage varies on your play style and how good you are, right? Are you speed running it? Do you know the routes? That'll all change. But yeah, for me, it's all about the bosses. And when I think of Elden Ring DLC, I think of the map, right? Now I go to the map and go, okay, how big is this? Is it that little small island off the side of the map where we went down to that castle with the guy and his daughter, if you remember, and we traveled through the castle below, I don't know, the furthest south little island? That's too small. You know what I mean? Now, is it the size of Limgrave, which was that first big area? That's kind of meaty, but like also,
I believe you said it was like maybe a bit around the size of Limgrave. I think they might have even said maybe a bit bigger than Limgrave, but kindoffunny.com/you're wrong if I messed that up. And yeah, like to that point, the thing with Bloodborne and the Old Hunters, right? Old Hunters, let's say 10 hours for Old Hunters. Maybe this is part of the how long to beat game that we can play ourselves. But I'm gonna say like around 10 hours for that. Bloodborne as a full game took me 30 hours to play through, maybe 30 to 40 hours to play through and beat. When you're talking about Elden Ring, I put in 90 to 100 hours in Elden Ring, and I still got content that I can like dig into with that. I think the expectation that they've set for Elden Ring when I'm thinking about DLC, I'm thinking I'm at least going to get 20 hours out of an Elden Ring DLC. I don't know if that's crazy to say. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave us a 30-hour.
I don't think so.
For maybe completionists.
It's interesting, Bless, because like how I kind of broke down Dark Souls 1 and 2 DLCs of like my mind goes to bosses. How many bosses are there, right? Elden Ring is a little bit different of like, yeah, there's probably going to be a large open world space that we're going to explore and hopefully find some dungeons. So like my mind goes to like, how many mini dungeons are there, which has the mini bosses, right? How many large scale, this is the cutscene oriented boss that is true to the story that you have to beat, right? I'm hoping, my hope, 5. You know what I mean? Like 5 large scale, this is the boss. Dungeons, I'm hoping for 4 dungeons. You know what I mean? Like these are kind of minimum. When you really think Elden Ring, I'm hoping for a lot more. I don't know. It's so grand of a game. And that's why I think when we talk about, hey, we're only doing 1 DLC, because it's taken 2 years to build out, hopefully, the biggest DLC possible, which then leads us up to, hey, it's been 4 years or whatever since the last release. Let's put out Elden Ring 2 or 5 years, whatever that takes. But it is interesting to think this is different from Dark Souls, the originals, where it's very more linear and kind of smaller on the scale than this.
I'm so fascinated about the idea of Elden Ring 2, because I think the question then becomes, well, I'll throw this question to you, Mike, because you're fresh off of playing Dark Souls and the DLCs and stuff. Do you have a preferred type of From Software game? Elden Ring made the big jump in being open world and being explorable and being huge and all that stuff. Do you miss Dark Souls? Like, would you want them to actually go, hey, let's make either Dark Souls 4 or go back to making a linear type of Souls game? Or do you think after Elden Ring, open world has to be the thing now? You have to give people that big space to explore and give people this gigantic 100-hour game now.
Yeah, that's a great question, Bless. And I think that all goes down to personal preference and probably the mood of my day, right? Because I could go back and forth. I am an open world junkie. I love the Bethesda games. I love Grand Theft Auto. I love the idea of Elden Ring, aka a From Software game, being this giant open world where we can get on horseback and ride from left to right and explore these different areas. But playing Dark Souls 1 into 2 now and going through the back catalog is like, oh man, I really like that smaller connected world and how it all built into each other, right? I started in one kind of like swampy, poisonous farm area, went up an elevator. All of a sudden I was in this like hot magma, like forge area. Then you went up another elevator and it was this crazy Dragon's Keep. Like, I love the older From Software games of how they built that world and made it feel big, but also way more contained than what this is. And so I think you catch me on a certain day. I wouldn't say I want one over the other because I enjoy them both so much.
And that's the tough thing is when I'm with you on that. I love Bloodborne, I love Sekiro, and I love Elden Ring, and I like how they tackle all those things differently, right?
Yeah.
One day I'm going to play through the Dark Souls games and love those too. And I compare it to the same way I talk about Zelda, and how you have many different types of Zelda games. You have the Link to the Past style, like top-down 2D Zelda. You have classic 3D Zelda with something like Ocarina or Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. But with Breath of the Wild, you kind of now have this brand new Zelda that has taken over what the main line is. And I think you're going to have people that miss that classic form. And you're going to have people that are also asking for those 2D games as well. And how do you balance all that? I think From Software is in a fascinating place where they don't need to sequelize everything. You know, oftentimes we talk about, oh yeah, you got to make it a franchise because sequels are always going to sell better, and now you have an audience that is invested in it. I think From Software has carved out a good enough reputation, and they've carved out a big enough fan base to where they don't ever really have to make a sequel to sell a game. They can just go, hey, we're making a new Souls-like, and people will show up for it regardless. And I kind of like that because I think that gives them the leeway to go, all right, we can make another open world game, and it could be Elden Ring 2, or it could just be another thing. If we wanted to, we can make another linear game, and it could be Dark Souls 4, or it could just be another thing. And that doesn't lock them in a way. You know, they don't like. I think if Miyazaki is in the mood to make another, hey, I want to make a linear game, and that had the Elden Ring name attached to it, I don't think that would go over well, right? People want that open world out of it, but you can feed whatever expectations you want because you don't, or whatever you want to do because you don't have to make an IP. You know what I mean? You don't have to make a sequelized thing. I think they're in that special place where they can do whatever they want with the next thing.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I would like to build off of that of like, I think it's fascinating as fans, though, you start to get into the lore, you start to build this world with them, and I do see that sequel really hitting of like, you've built off of what you already know instead of, man, we got to go back to the drawing board and get George Railroad Martin to get back here and rebuild a brand new world. Like, it is tough to like make something so high quality that they do with so many questions and the lore and how you want to follow it all and put all these pieces together of like, you build out the sequel because now we know all that and the fans want to see more of the touchstones that we know instead of, hey, let's get a reset, you know? So it is an interesting idea, but yeah, they can do anything. They're on top of the world. What I will say is, you know, just because my mind is thinking of FromSoft, we just got done with Armored Core.
Yep.
You know, I know this is totally out of left field, but I would say I would never want them to go to a mission structure like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like much smaller. Yeah, with the Souls.
Oh, for sure.
Thing, you know what I mean? I know they probably wouldn't, but you know, you think of like, could they use anything they've learned from Armored Core and put it into these Souls-like games that they're building now for the future? And I just didn't vibe with Armored Core and that mission structure in a Souls-like game that I would want to see in the future.
My prediction / my desire for the future of FromSoft, based on this interview and based on just how they've talked about it in general, I think Elden Ring 2 is a given. I think we're going to get Elden Ring 2. I think the question is more of when do we get it? And I kind of hope we don't see Elden Ring 2 for a very long time. I hope they let it sit. I hope they go, because From Software, again, they've established so many new things and brought forth like so many new types of, I guess, quote unquote Souls. Like, I was just say different kinds of action games when you look at a Sekiro versus a Bloodborne versus an Armored Core. I hope Elden Ring stays as this generational thing. We don't need another Elden Ring on PS5. Maybe wait until maybe later on in the PS6 era, or maybe we get to the PlayStation 7 or something. Sit on that. Let your next thing be a Sekiro 2. Because I want a Sekiro 2. I want another kind of Sekiro game. Maybe, if we're lucky, work on another Bloodborne.
Maybe.
I want them to sit on Elden Ring because that game is so massive and that game has such an impact. And if you give it a decade and come back with Elden Ring 2 after a decade, the amount of hype. Like, people will be ravenous for it. People will be thirsting for it, and it will have. I think that you get into the GTA 6 territory of, oh man, it's the biggest conversation ever because you only get Elden Ring once in a decade.
Yeah.
Like it becomes this holiday almost.
Yeah, the best move would be take some time, rebuild that giant new open world for Elden Ring. Give us a linear one like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne or a Sekiro. I am interested on that final one we haven't talked about, right? The start of a franchise beyond the game itself, right? Of course, you think of what could they do? And I believe there's a Dark Souls tabletop game out there that you could buy, or maybe it's Bloodborne, but there's definitely a tabletop game. I think that's an easy win right there. Not something that I would go do, but like I think of Castlevania, the animated series on Netflix. You do that in a Dark Souls or Elden Ring world, sign me up. You know what I mean? Like I'm there for that. Right?
I mean, you mentioned George Railroad Martin, right? Like get something on HBO. The return of George R. Martin to the HBO screen. I feel like doing that with Elden Ring could be huge.
I am impressed that we haven't seen. I'm surprised, not impressed, but I'm surprised that we haven't seen a Elden Ring comic. I always see so many Alien versus Predator or comics. I always see all these different video games or movies into a comic form. I'm surprised I haven't seen Elden Ring the comic, and maybe they have. But
I think there is.
I haven't seen it.
I saw people in chat mentioning that there is an Elden Ring manga out there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I think you have that, and yeah, I think you get the board games. I think you get the merchandise and stuff. But I'm curious to see if we get Elden Ring adapted in a bigger way. Because
what a hit!
I think Castlevania would be the perfect analog. I would love to see some kind of like really well done animation with it.
Just real dark. Yeah, I want that. I'm all about that.
Hell yeah. We do have some YouTube super chats that came in. DJ Kento says, "Give me an Elden Ring tabletop RPG for the homies." I think that'd be fantastic. Tabletop is all the rage currently.
I would love to try. You know what, Blessing? I'm going to go buy one of those, and I would love to try that with you. I always look at those and go, oh, man, that's so cool. A video game that I know is in a board tabletop game. I'd like to try that. But then these tabletop games, you got to spend like 2 nights getting to know how to play it, and then it becomes fun, you know?
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're talking about a TTRPG, like a Dungeons and Dragons type situation where it is, hey, we're now for the next year living in the world of Elden Ring and creating our characters and stuff. I think there's really fun stuff you can do with that. I mean, especially for like the super nerds out there, right? Like if you're a TTRPG person and you're also an Elden Ring person and like you want to go down that Duffy, there's some really fun things you can do. DJ Kento also did another super chat and says, yo, let's be real. If you wait a decade for Elden Ring 2, George R. Martin won't be around to be involved. I think that's fine though. He was there to kind of set the tone for what the universe is.
Yeah, then you build off of that for sure. You know what I mean? It will be interesting to see. Like you said, your assumption would be Elden Ring 2 has to be this massive open world game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it will be interesting to me. What if they took a hard left turn and was like, hey, smaller project, it's linear, it's like Dark Souls 1 through 3 or Bloodborne that but it's just Elden Ring. You know what I mean?
That's the one thing they could do that I think people would be like, oh, interesting. Like I don't think people would be mad, but I think people would be like, oh, why wouldn't you just do another?
That's what I want to feel. That's the temperature check I want to take. It's like, does Elden Ring have to be open world for you? Or if they hit you with a smaller, normal size game that they usually make, but it's in the Elden Ring kind of lore and universe, would you be okay with that? Would you be turned off all of a sudden, you know?
My knee-jerk reaction would be, dang, no, I want Elden Ring to be open world. But I think what would happen is that people would have that initial reaction, and then it would come out, and people would play it and go, damn, it's a banger still. Like, as long as it's a banger, people are going to be happy. But yeah, I think there would be that weird knee-jerk reaction of like, why isn't this open world this time? We have one more from Optimus Prime, who says, I loved how the Dark Souls formula has evolved through Elden Ring, but I think they should create a new IP with this formula. I would like a Sekiro sequel, though. Dude, what I want, if I'm talking about my dream from software game right now, I want in a game that has the open worldness of Elden Ring, like that same kind of open world design and structure, but just go full in on the combat of Sekiro. Yeah, Sekiro still has my favorite combat system of any From Software game, and I think it'd be really fun to have it have a game that takes place in that like medieval fantasy Japan, and like just go hard, like make that world, but make it open world and explorable.
It's crazy that we've gotten a little taste of it. We've gotten people that tried that. Rise of the Ronin comes to my mind.
Rise of the Ronin is a really good
Fallen
example.
Dynasty, kind of similar to that, but not really. But like, we've gotten the taste of like, could we do that? And nobody's really nailed that because we know who would nail that, and it's this team right there. But yeah, that would be pretty badass, Bless.
Somebody in chat mentioned Assassin's Creed Red, right? Like, I'm excited for that, just for, you know, like the Assassin's Creed finally taking place in Japan.
Yeah, and how they've elevated that combat system and like kind of changed it to be more of a Souls-like vibe with the controls and more of the attack patterns instead of XXXY like it used to be.
And somebody mentioned Ghost 2. Like again, these are all great games to drop and great mentions. But I'm talking about all that, but the combat system of Sekiro, like double down on it, sings like that thing is so good.
That X factor they got.
Mike, let's move on. The story number 2. Take-Two Interactive shuts down 2 game studios. This is Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. Take-Two Interactive Software Inc. plans to shut down 2 subsidiaries as part of a massive layoff across its divisions, according to documentation reviewed by Bloomberg. The first outfit is London-based Roll7, developer of the action game Rollerdrome, according to a note to staff. Take-Two plans to close the studio and will offer severance agreements to its staff. The other is Seattle-based Intercept Games, maker of the space flight simulation game Kerbal Space Program 2, according to a notice filed with the Washington State Employment Security Department Monday. The notice revealed that Take-Two plans to close an office in Seattle and cut 70 jobs, or roughly the number of people who worked for Intercept Games. Of course, this comes off of the news from yesterday talking about how Take-Two is shutting down the private division office in Seattle. This sucks, man. You know, like coming off of what was it, Roll7, who had only released bangers in the last few years. You're talking about Ollie Ollie World and you're talking about Rollerdrome. Both games that were super well received. And then you're also talking about the Kerbal Space Program folks, who again put out bangers. Kerbal Space Program, when that came out, was a hit. Yeah,
it's a hit. I know that Kerbal Space Program 2 didn't come out the way that they wanted and didn't have the reception that they wanted. But of course, through continued game updates, it's going to be a great game down the road. And it's fun to build those spaceships and launch them into space. This one hurts. This one's a little close to home for me because those games that you named really were something that I enjoyed playing. I love Kerbal Space Program. I also really loved Ollie Ollie World. And so it sucks. And coming from a company like this, it's wild. You guys on Kind of Funny Games Daily have covered this so much. All of these layoffs, all of these closures really suck, right? It's not fun to talk about. It hurts. It is awful to think about the people who have lost their jobs and what they have to do now. Like, that's not fun. That sucks in the video game world. And for Take-Two of all people, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Doing it for the shareholders, that sucks. You got way too much money to be doing that. That's crazy.
It super sucks because, like, I think there's something so valuable about having that side of your corporation, even as a big AAA publisher, that you're probably focusing on your Borderlands stuff. You're probably focusing on GTA and all these things. I think still having that side of your identity that is, oh man, but we have the studio that's making Rollerdrome. We have Kerbal. We have this stuff that is like injecting a lot of charm into the gaming space and into like just the catalogs that you have on your library. When you go through the list of Take-Two games, you're like, oh snap, like this is actually pretty dope. Just the way that we talk about how cool EA originals are when you talk about EA's catalog. Yeah. It's all right, yeah, you got Star Wars and you got sports games, but also like we published It Takes Two, we published like not Fez, I forget what that one was called, like one of the early ones, but Unraveled, stuff like that, right? Like you have this catalog that is invoking a brightness to it, and you get something like It Takes Two that wins the Game of the Year at the Game Awards, right? Like how cool is that? That sucks then. See kind of like other publishers not really be able to retain that and go, we got to focus on the money. We got to focus on purely where the money is coming from. And yeah, because of that, this studio that probably wasn't costing us much to do, and also a studio that I can't imagine that those studios weren't making profit or weren't like making the returns. They just weren't enough returns to speak to what Take-Two wanted out of them. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, they have some heavy hitters here which are, you know, I don't want to say plagued, but really driven by microtransactions, which is Grand Theft Auto with shark cards, and of course, NBA 2K24, which I talk about every single year with the outrageous amount of money that is pulling out of players, right? It's like, there's so much money going around between this. You would think that they would be able to handle that, but, you know, it's all about the shareholders, which sucks. And then on top of that, they're probably looking at Grand Theft Auto is the big piece here. Everybody's focusing on that. That's where all the money's going. It is unfortunate to see smaller teams that are making fun and different games than NBA 2K and WWE 2K every single year that you can enjoy have to, you know, suffer in the process, which is too bad.
Yeah. Faye was the game I was trying to think of, not Fez. But yeah, I don't know. I want to say I hope that these studios are able, and the hope that the folks that are working at these studios are able to continue and like band together and create new studios out of this. Like that is the hope. The thing that sucks is that right now in the landscape that we're in video games, man, is it hard to find funding right now? Is it hard to find work right now because everybody's getting laid off? Like things are rough, and so of course my heart goes out to the people losing work over this. I hope you're able to find something, but man, like are things looking bleak right now in the video games industry?
Thank you for making games that I enjoyed. We appreciate you.
1000%.
God, I love Ollie Ollie World. I made Bob's.
God, I love Roller Drone, man.
Yeah, come on.
Like what a brilliant idea for a video game. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to story number 3, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Over there, you can get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
Looking for the perfect gift to celebrate the moms in your life? Aura frames are beautiful, Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app, and if you're giving Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. How do I, Greg Miller from Kinda Funny, know so much about Aura? Because I just gave Jen one for her birthday. I used the QR code on the box to preload it with photos of her and Benny, and when she booted it up for the first time, she got to see a sweet little message from me. I like this frame so much that I am actually legitimately buying one for my mother for Mother's Day. From grandmothers to new mothers, aunts, and even friends in your life, every mom loves an Aura frame. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off, plus free shipping for their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com. Use code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to save. And mom, if you see this before you get your Aura frame for Mother's Day, please act surprised.
And we're back with story number 3. Sony is pulling Horizon Zero Dawn from the PlayStation Plus game catalog. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Also, shout out Video Games Chronicle, which is celebrating 5 years today.
Oh, really?
As an outlet, yeah.
Hey, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yep, I put up a tweet today. But like, you know, they become like my main source of video game news. Obviously, like, I love all the different outlets we got out there. I'd shout out IGN, shout out GameSpot, shout out everybody, Kotaku, Polygon. But Video Games Chronicle, when it comes to just straight up video game news, they're so like to the point and clean and well written and like have the exact amount of context that I need for every news story. And they quickly, especially for gathering news for the show, have become my favorite outlet. And so, ladies and gentlemen, chat, you know, make sure that you're going and reading VGC alongside me if you want to.
That's super high praise.
Them,
yeah, coming from you, who creates all of the Kinda Funny Games daily docs and is reading the news every single day. Yo, check out VGC if you want to stay in the know. Like you're saying, that's great.
I am on the internet every single morning, like gathering video game news on Twitter and all these different things. Right, I cannot vouch for VGC enough when it comes to doing great news reporting and great like news roundups. But yeah, let's get into it. Sony is removing Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition from the PlayStation Plus game catalog this month. While the PS4 game is currently available to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members, it'll leave the service on May 21st, according to its PlayStation Store listing. That's the same date that another 25 games will leave the service, including 6 Final Fantasy titles. Horizon Zero Dawn's upcoming removal is notable given it's a first-party game and one that has sold over 20 million copies across PS4 and PC, according to Sony. As reported by Push Square, the last time a game published by Sony left the game catalog was when Spider-Man was removed in May 2023 as part of what the platform holder called a normal content refresh. It was pulled from PlayStation Plus 5 months before the release of its PS5 sequel, Spider-Man 2. In late 2022, it was reported that Sony was planning to release a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn for PS5, a claim which VGC was able to corroborate via its own sources at the time. And that part is what makes this interesting.
So that's what they're getting at. Because, I'm making faces over here of like, why are you pulling a first-party game off of this service that you're encouraging me to subscribe to, right? Being the Xbox guy and not being really familiar with PlayStation Plus all that often besides paying them $12 a month and not really playing many games on it, which I'm being a jabroni with. But it is interesting of like, my assumption would be, give me those first-party games, right? But it seems like we're pulling it off because we're going to hit you with a remaster to make you pay for it, which that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm so curious on what that's going to be, if that's going to be a thing. I think the timing is interesting because everybody's expecting a PlayStation Showcase or State of Play to happen by the end of May. That's usually when we get one year for year. And so if we get that at the end of the month, do we get the announcement of Horizon remaster or remake? Do they say it's out today or is it out this fall, or like what do they do with it? And is it even possible to get people excited for a Horizon remaster?
Do you need this?
No,
okay,
not at all.
Do people need this? I know the
Nope.
sequel everybody loved. They enjoyed that. Do we need a remaster of this? I thought the game was already pretty beautiful.
If you remember the Last of Us remaster,
Yeah.
right, Last of Us Part 1, when they announced that, everybody was poo-pooing on it, right?
Okay.
Like everybody was hating on it. I was of the mind of like, listen, it fucking looks great. Like the Last of Us Part 1 remake, I think was worth it just for the idea of like, hey dude, it's Last of Us 1, but it looks like Last of Us 2. I'm down for that. As somebody who likes Last of Us, sure, why not? Horizon Zero Dawn, that was 20, Last of Us was 2013. Horizon 2017. I know it's only like 4 years off, but it's also just a native PS4 game. It's not something that I feel like needs this whatsoever, but I think the idea is, hey, let's try to keep ourselves as modern as possible because we got the Horizon TV show that has been announced, and like we want that to be a hit. You saw how well the Last of Us TV show did, right? And like what that did for people going back and picking up Last of Us Part 2 and also picking up Last of Us Part 1. I think they want to have everything good and ready to go by the time you get that TV show coming out.
And when you say that, when I think of Sony, right, and I think of PlayStation first-party games, I think of the very best, the highest of quality. I think of those games that I come to because they look the best, they have the best narratives. There is a certain level of expectation that comes from that. And I mean, yeah, I would probably want all of my Sony first-party games to be that. And so if it's time for a remaster to keep that in and making it sure it looks hot like The Last of Us, like you just said, then yeah, that's kind of the expectation. I get that.
Yeah. Story number 4. Tetris is partnering with 7-Eleven to release a handheld. This is Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. American convenience store chain 7-Eleven is partnering with Tetris on a line of merchandise, including a handheld. The line, which includes t-shirts, hats, and more apparel with Tetris and 7-Eleven branding, is out now for customers in the U.S. It's currently unknown if the line will also be available in Japan, another region with a large number of 7-Eleven stores. Quote, featuring an officially licensed Tetris title, this portable Slurpee plus Tetris handheld game device lets you play the classic game on the go. With a full-color 1.8-inch screen that brings the iconic shapes and colors to life, reads the description for the handheld. The handheld will require 3 AAA batteries or a USB-C cable, neither of which are included. The handheld will cost $30 and is listed as coming soon on its store page. Mike, you interested in this?
Blessing, can I say something really quick?
What's up?
We got to stop with this.
No.
As Roger once told me, this is electronic just waste and just junk, right? Like, I love the idea. It's cute that it's on slushy. We got to stop with this kind of stuff. We got to just stop. This is just waste. There's no use for this. There's no reason to be doing this. As someone who frequents 7-Eleven more than I probably should, 7-Eleven for some reason has an aisle just dedicated to junk now. It's t-shirts, it's sunglasses, it's hats, it's toys. It's just waste. What is going on, 7-Eleven? What are we doing here?
Mike, I'm not going to lie.
Tell me.
When I saw this story, I clicked over to the store and I almost swiped the card.
Hell yeah.
If the Tetris portable game was out, like if it was like you can buy it and get it shipped now, I probably would have swiped the card.
Oh my gosh, man. That's
I'm
amazing.
into it.
The merch, though, this hat is dope as fuck.
That's what I'm saying. I think the merch looks good. Like I think the hat looks great. I think some of the shirts look great. Like I am not a 7-Eleven
Stacking and snacking is a great tagline. I'll give him that. It's
like,
a great tagline.
As we go through,
Sweater. That's a good sweater.
And I just love the ridiculousness. This black and white sweater I like a lot. Stacking and snacking.
What are we doing? Tetris and 7-Eleven. That's the last combo you ever would have put together.
One of the shirts, it has like all like the Tetris and like the rainbow colors, and then 7-Eleven at the bottom.
My mind is blown.
I fucking love it though.
I don't hate it either.
I really like it.
I like it
My
too.
mind is blown.
I'm kind of a fan of the merch. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I can't hate on it. I
Okay,
wanna,
7-Eleven, send it over to him.
This is something I feel like usually I would hate on, but I can't. I kind of like it.
It's amazing.
I'm into it. I like 7-Eleven. I like Tetris.
Wild. That I would love to be in that office.
The thing that fucks it up is like the very bottom row they have Speedway, and I'm like, I'm not really.
What's up with that?
I'm not really a Speedway guy.
Yeah.
People
Speedway's
making
not
the
as
game?
cool as 7-Eleven.
Oh, that's a different branding for 7-Eleven type stuff? Is that what
Maybe.
Speedway is? Okay.
I mean, I know what Speedway. Yeah, I think it's just another kind of.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know they were connected. I didn't know they were owned by the
Damn, it's
same.
crazy. That makes me kind of hate Speedway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
Speedway, you're ruining it.
Don't forget 7-Eleven Free Slushy Day coming up. Make sure to be prepared. Free Slushy Day is a big national holiday that you got to take advantage of. Get your free slushy, y'all.
Yeah, Speedway is owned by 7-Eleven and the Marathon Oil. I honestly, if they put the Marathon Oil branding on there, I'm not a big
Okay. okay.
The Speedway, I don't care about Speedway. Give me a fucking make it Safeway. I frequent Safeway.
A frequent Safeway in what video game do you want?
Elden Ring. Give me the Elden Ring Safeway merch. You know,
I mean, I've bought some bad merch in my days.
Like,
I buy anything.
Millennia and slashing prices. You know what I mean? Like, let's do it.
Amazing.
Next news story. Story number 5. A video offers the first good look at Super Nintendo World at Universal Epic Universe. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Universal has released a video showing off the upcoming Super Nintendo World in Orlando, featuring Super Mario Land and Donkey Kong Country. The attraction will open in the new theme park, Universal Epic Universe, in the summer of 2025. Universal Epic Universe will be the 4th theme park at Universal Orlando, along with Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay. In the video, the park's creative team discussed the rides and attractions that will be available to visitors who will enter Super Nintendo World through the iconic green pipe. Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is an augmented reality ride. Minecart Madness is billed as a thrilling family coaster, and Yoshi's Adventure is an interactive ride which explores Mount Beanpole and offers unique views of the world. You lost me at Mount Beanpole. But yeah, this continues to look cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. As a Universal Orlando guy, I didn't frequent Disney. I went to Universal Orlando. I love Islands of Adventure. It's one of my favorite places to go. I think they have great thrill rides and awesome branding all around, from superheroes to Jurassic Park, King Kong, Harry Potter, Toy Story, all that jazz, right? But or maybe Dr. Seuss instead of Toy Story. But I'm down for a 4th park, and Nintendo World. Yeah, we got to go one day. We got to go.
I'm down.
Got to see this.
I'm not gonna lie. I had to Google Mount Beanpole because I thought Kevin was fucking with me.
you thought you typed in there.
I thought Kevin might have been doing like one of the banana things, but it turns out Mount Beanpole is a world. It's a world in Super Mario 3D World. World 1-3 is Mount Beanpole.
It's crazy when you look at this, the 4th park. They have Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, and then more Harry Potter, which is wild there. So, man, that's going to have a lot going on. I'm looking forward to it. Does the one in LA? How much? We have to go to the LA one too.
Yeah.
Because I'm always all about how much space do you got? How much can you create here? And I think the Orlando parks has always had a lot of space to make so much more than LA proper has. So I want to see this. This is exciting stuff.
Yeah. There's the leaked photos. When I say leaked, I'm pretty sure it was leaked by Disney.
Okay.
But they're the photos of Aonuma with like a construction hat on the, I believe it was Orlando campus. And it seems like they're probably going to make Zelda too.
Okay.
And I think that's super exciting.
Ooh.
I might wait until Zelda's
Zelda
made
cool.
to hit up Orlando. But I think right now, California would be the way to go.
We see this Mario Kart ride, and I just can't get down with it. I don't know if that one's for me.
Is it because of AR?
I don't. Yeah, I think it's the AR. Maybe it's more. It's clearly tuned more towards kids. You know, and I'm more of a thrill seeker of like, give me the biggest roller coaster. You know, and so I don't know if I can get down with that one. It just seems probably a little slower than I want, and I don't really want to wear AR goggles on my head a lot.
Yeah, I will say, after experiencing the Cars ride at Disneyland, Mario Kart might not have the stuff because the Cars ride is an actual ride. It's an actual, like, not a roller coaster, but you're going fast, you're having like the whole experience or whatever. And that's what I want out of like a high-speed kart or like racing type of thing. Make it feel like I'm racing the people that are next to me. I'm sure they're going to capture that in AR. I'm sure it's also more geared towards kids.
You know, but here's a fun story for you.
That Cars ride is insane.
I mean, first off, this is for kids, and it's going to be awesome. One day, maybe Kevin, like you, I'll have a kid. You never know. Maybe one day. We were playing soccer, and when I played for the second team, I was hyping him up, you know, like we do. And the guy looked at me and goes, "Are you a dad?" And I go, "No, but one day I hope to be."
Fuck is that answer? What does that mean?
So maybe one day when I have kids, I can go to Super Nintendo World. We'll have a great time. Because this, you know, as a gaming adult and a kid that grew up with gaming, this is my dream, right? To have a Universal theme park or a Disney World that's dedicated to the games you grew up on. How radical is that? And to be able to share that with my kids, that's going to be wicked.
I had the same thought yesterday because of the Fairly Odd Parents, the new one they announced. I saw like the images and the new trailer, and I was like, dude, I was such a Fairly Odd Parents kid. It was up there as probably my favorite Nickelodeon cartoon. It was between that and SpongeBob, but like at the height of Fairly Odd Parents was taking it. I loved Fairly Odd Parents. So like the new images of like the characters and seeing Cosmo and Wanda again and seeing like Jorgen von Strangle and all these characters returning, I'm like, oh, this is fucking cool. And as an adult, I don't watch cartoons like that really anymore. If I had a kid though, it'd be the excuse where I was like, all right, we're watching some Fairly Odd Parents.
You'd be watching Bluey like Greg.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just got to watch Bluey instead. Mike, Super Nintendo World looks huge. We also talked about a lot of big news, but if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about, where would I go?
Blessing, you'd go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
That's right. It's time. Story number 6. It's Wii News. This first one comes from The Verge. NVIDIA is releasing a script that simplifies getting its GeForce Now cloud gaming service up and running on Valve's Steam Deck device. The script automatically installs Google Chrome, adjusts the browser to enable gamepad use, and then it adds a GeForce Now shortcut to your Steam library.
Yes.
Love that.
Make it easy. I don't understand how to break the machine. Just make it easy for me. Thank you.
Thank you. This next one is from Deadline. Knuckles became the most watched Paramount Plus original series of all time with more than 4 million hours streamed in its premiere weekend.
That's crazy.
I don't know if that's like a, man, good for Knuckles or like bad for Paramount Plus.
Now you know.
It's like, wait, Knuckles is your breakout
Let's celebrate
success?
Knuckles. Let's say it's great for Knuckles. Let's celebrate them.
Listen, I'm always down to celebrate Knuckles.
Yes.
Helldivers 2 Premium Warbond Polar Patriots launches May 9th. Go get them. THQ Nordic Showcase is set for August 2nd at 12 p.m. Pacific. RKGK launches May 22nd on PC. Go check out a trailer for that one. It's pretty cool.
Does it look cool? Okay, I was going to say, I don't know what this is.
It's like a platformer action. Okay. Cozy Caravan launches May 16th on Steam Early Access. And then from VGC, prominent content creator Maximilian Dude has commissioned a cel-shaded mod for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Kevin, this is one that I have like a video for. I want to show this off. Maximilian Dude took to X to announce that he'd commissioned a mod to reskin the 2017 fighting game to bring its art style closer in line with previous entries in the series. The mod is being developed by @Wistful Hopes on X/Twitter, and the first images and videos of it have been shared online. It looks dope as fuck.
Yeah, it's wicked. That's cool.
If you're watching the video version of the episode right now, Kevin has it pulled up, and yeah, it's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite from 2017, I believe it was. Okay. And yeah, with an updated art style to make it cel shaded, and yeah, it looks hot.
Man, shout out to that guy. He's cool.
Twitter video though,
doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah, Twitter compression is killing it.
We talk about these mods and like changing up the games. He won't get in trouble for this. This won't be taken down. You don't think?
I don't think Capcom cares as much.
Okay, it's not like when we talk about like Nintendo.
When we talk about Nintendo, it's like, but yeah,
okay.
I feel like Capcom, they're not, I don't think they're as litigious as Nintendo.
Okay.
But they could still get in trouble. I don't know. As long as they don't sell it, I'm sure they're fine.
Cool.
This is a video of RKGK, the game I was talking about, pronounced Rakugaki. Yeah, it's like a platforming action game with a fun art style, and you're like zooming everywhere.
Kind of gives me the looks of Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
From the back with the bright colors.
I can see that for sure. And that's it for Wii News. That's what could Bob say. Is this news? Is that not news?
What? About Maximilian Dude using his platform to do something cool?
Yeah, I was like, I think a lot of people care about a cel-shaded Marvel vs. Capcom thing. They might have also been.
I mean, that's what Wii News is all about. It's small news that maybe you care about, maybe you don't, but it's small news that people want to talk about.
That's why I put it in Wii News.
So I put it in the Wii News.
Watch yourself, kebabs. I'm watching you. Before we get out of here, let's take a look at some super chats. Damn, DJ Kento been all up in the super chats today. DJ Kento writes in and says, "Did y'all see the McDonald's Tetris chicken nugget from China?" Yes, I got one. No, it wasn't worth it. No, I didn't see this.
Got McDonald's Tetris chicken nuggets.
Like Tetris shaped chicken nuggets?
Edible, or like they're like fluffy pillows is what my mind goes to. That are shaped like, they look like a chicken nugget, but they're shaped in a Tetris shape.
I'm into that. I'm not.
People buy those.
Can I make a confession to you?
Tell me.
I'm not a chicken nuggets person. I've never been a fan of chicken nuggets. I never understood the hype.
I'm a tenders man. If I'm with choice.
I am also a tenders man.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Oh God.
I'm a tenders man.
Pac-Man, do you like chicken tenders?
They gave me this cool hat.
Yeah, man.
What are your thoughts on chicken nuggets? Oh God. Chicken nuggets?
What about them?
Are you a fan?
Yeah,
You
I mean, I'm a
overhyped
bigger
at all?
fan of chicken tenders. Have you ever had a Starbird chicken tender?
A Starburn?
Starbird.
No, I don't even know what
this
Starbird
shit'll
is.
change your life.
Starbird chicken tender.
Starbird, yeah.
Okay. Is that a restaurant in SF?
Yeah, it's a chain. It's got locations around and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think they just opened one in South San Francisco.
I'll say, can I
Yeah, we were
DoorDash
talking
it?
about going to it.
Shuhei Yoshida's favorite chicken sandwich in the world.
Really?
In the world.
Has he been to Hot Boys?
I don't think so. Probably
we should
not.
take him.
We should take him to Hot Boys. It'll change his life.
That'd be an adventure. Let's rent a van and we all go to Hot Boys.
Look at how good I look. This.
You
Look
look
great.
Give him the chomp chomp.
He did that really well.
Remember, we're playing. I'm gonna win. It's gonna be a great time.
Said you're undefeated in Battle Royale. I don't believe that. I don't think that's true.
In this office against these jabronis.
He's never
yes.
been beaten. It's true.
But like, is that how Battle Royales work?
We have the stats. Shut up, Barrett.
The only one
Shut
who
up.
beats me is Barrett, probably, because he's real good at.
I'll say, I
he's
don't
really
think-
good.
But he don't compete. You wouldn't let him.
I don't know what that
doesn't let
means
him.
though, because like, how do you face off against?
Well, it's like, we've done like 800 streams. You might have missed a couple. Maybe I didn't invite the best gamers in the office, Barrett and Bless. But like, I beat the other jabronis all the time. They don't even.
but like,
no
so you guys
competition
are just dropping in the same game
yeah, then I beat
separately.
them. You know what I mean? More kills.
I think you're making
All
things
that.
up.
No,
check the
we
videos.
play
Check the
Fortnite,
videos.
and we split everyone up sometimes, and they go with it's like all best friends.
We do
playing.
the kill race thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Mike wins every single one of them.
Well,
every single time.
Thank you,
I
Kat.
don't believe
Every
that.
time. We just don't
Shut
invite
up,
you guys because
Barrett!
you're too good.
Just lying in front of my face. DJ Kento also writes in and says 7-Eleven. Damn, DJ Kento's taking advantage of the super
DJ
chats.
Kento
I mean,
having
listen,
fun.
if you want to give us the
Uh-huh.
$5, this is how you get red.
Thanks, DJ Kento.
7-Eleven put out a retro employee button down smock. I bought it. High quality. Shocked. I don't know what that means.
Like the cool like button-up T-shirts that 7-Eleven employees used to wear back in the day.
I see.
Like that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, 7-Eleven. Like I said, 7-Eleven's selling a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff lately.
Matt Steele gave us the super chat and then retracted it.
Oh, well, thank you, Matt Steele.
Yeah.
I hope that we still get that. But like,
I don't know how
yeah.
that works, but
Let us
the
know.
message is retracted,
Okay.
but we still get the $5, I guess. Oh, I like.
I
the
don't
button
know
now.
what version.
Oh,
it is, but
see, I was thinking more
I
of the
like
green
this.
and black one,
Yeah, I mean, there's different. I mean, but this is the normal. That's when you go into stuff, and that's what people.
but they're
wear.
wearing now.
I like this one.
Buy that off
cool.
of eBay. $34.99 right now.
Deal. You know.
Well, now it's time for
Look at
kindoffunny.com.
that sweater.
/you're wrong. Rewrite in. Let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Kebabs, it's not a you're wrong. It's a bit. We know George R.R. Martin's real name isn't Railroad.
Oh, really? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, bless. 7-Eleven has just an like apparel.
Oh, I like that bomber jacket.
They got some good stuff.
Oh, I like that sweater.
Yo, that cream-colored sweater's nice.
Dude, the
right
one
there.
under that though, like the green colored one.
Oh, the green one's nice.
I'm fucking with
Okay,
that.
maybe I'm turning around on 7-Eleven
What are
merch.
Thank
Not
God.
to turn things sour, but what are the ethics of 7-Eleven as a company? Because every time I'm like, oh man, I'm into this
Man,
company.
If you never look into it, you never know.
Every time I look into it, every time I do it, it's like,
turn a blind eye.
oh, and we're giving money to Israel. And I'm like, why? Why are we doing this?
Not looking.
Fucking Puma. And then Kebab says, when the Zero Dawn news broke a while back, I recall it being called a remake, not a remaster. I don't know which it is. They're very different things. Well, listen, Kebabs, I read what I'm given. You know, VGC says remaster in their article.
Different, same,
And also,
similar, you know.
I don't know. Who cares at this point until Sony announces it? It's always, we don't know what. There's such a spectrum. Thank you in the back. That's Roger.
Thank you.
There's such a spectrum of like, it was a remake, it's a remaster. I'm not making fun of you, Kebabs. You're fine.
You make the official announcement. Then
Just
we'll
make the
talk about
official announcement, then we'll talk about it the way it
it.
is.
Make it easy.
And then Kebabs writes in with a fun fact. Listen, it's
Fun
called
fact.
You're Wrong.
Fun fact. But fun fact is.
It's not even a fun. People know this.
Damn it.
The fun fact is that technical name for Tetris blocks is Tetraminos. We all know this. We watched the movie.
I didn't know that.
I don't think they clarified that in the movie.
Yeah.
The movie's
I
more
once
about
watched the
business.
Pac-Man movie.
I never saw. Wait, there's a Pac-Man
Adam
movie?
Sandler had a Pac-Man
That was not a Pac-Man movie.
Pixels,
Don't remember that.
Pixels, there's a lot of shade
Don't remember that.
involved in
They had Pac-Man in it. He was chomping things.
Kebabs, I'm gonna need you to time yourself out.
You've been timed out.
You've been timed out, Kebabs. That's it for You're Wrong. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Day. We're just sitting here just fooling with the people that are trying to help us.
You know what? That's what happens.
Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the Gamescast. After this, of course, is the PS I Love You XOXO goodbye episode, and then the stream after that, which is a Pac-Man Chomp Champs, nailed it, stream, followed by more Pokemon Nuzlocke.
So much Pokemon.
But until next time, game daily.